Imagine being at the top of the world, millions chanting your name, endorsements, and shoe deals flooding your bank account, and your stats making headlines every single night. Then suddenly, it's all gone. These aren't just basketball stories. They're human stories about bad decisions, brutal injuries, betrayal, and the harsh truth that greatness can vanish in a blink. Vin Baker, alcohol ruined an $86 million career. Vin Baker was once among the most dominant power forwards in the NBA. Drafted 8th overall in 1993 by the Milwaukee Bucks, he quickly rose to all-star status. By his 4th season, he averaged 21 points and 10 rebounds, showcasing soft touch around the rim, strong rebounding, and versatility for his 6'11" frame. In 1997, he was traded to the Seattle Supersonics in a blockbuster deal and formed a powerful front-court duo with Shawn Kemp. During this period, Baker signed a 7-year, $86 million contract extension, securing his future as one of the highest-paid big men in basketball. But behind the scenes, Vin Baker was battling severe alcohol addiction. Early in his career, he started drinking socially after games. Over time, it escalated to daily drinking, before games, after games, and during off days. As his alcohol dependency grew, his on-court performance declined rapidly. He gained significant weight, losing his athletic edge. His points per game fell from 21 to just 5 by his final NBA season. Baker was so highly regarded in college that the University of Hartford retired his jersey 42 while he was still an active NBA player, an extremely rare honor. His addiction caused tension with coaches, teammates, and front office executives. Baker was traded multiple times and released by teams unable to manage his issues. Eventually, he left the NBA in 2006 at age 34, far earlier than expected for a player of his caliber. Despite earning over $100 million from NBA salaries and endorsements, Baker lost nearly everything due to alcohol, bad investments, unpaid taxes, and reckless spending. At one point, he attempted to revive his basketball career overseas, but his body and health had deteriorated beyond repair. In 2015, news broke that Vin Baker was working at a Starbucks in Rhode Island. Many fans mocked this fall from NBA stardom, but Baker explained he was learning store management under a local franchise owner who admired his humility and effort to rebuild his life. Today, Vin Baker is sober, works as an assistant coach for the Milwaukee Bucks, and uses his story to mentor young players about addiction, finances, and life decisions that can end even the brightest careers. Allen Iverson, from $200 million to nearly broke, Allen Iverson is arguably one of the most unstoppable forces the NBA has ever seen. A player who dominated defenders with lightning speed, killer crossovers, and an unbreakable will to win, only to end up nearly broke despite earning over $200 million in his career. Allen Iverson, famously known as The Answer, was drafted 1st overall in 1996 by the Philadelphia 76ers. From day one, he made it clear he wasn't just another guard, he was a scoring machine with swagger nobody had ever seen. By the end of his career, Iverson had played 914 NBA games, averaging 26.7 points per game, ranking him 7th all-time in NBA scoring average. He dished out 6.2 assists, grabbed nearly 4 rebounds, and recorded over 2 steals per game, despite standing just 6 feet tall. But it wasn't just the stats, it was how he did it. In 2001, he led the Sixers to the NBA Finals, famously dropping 48 points in Game 1 against the Lakers and stepping over Tyronn Lue in one of basketball's coldest moments ever. That season, he won the NBA MVP, cementing his status as a legend. Iverson was an 11-time All-Star, a 4-time scoring champion, and had a career-high 60-point game against Orlando in 2005. Off the court, his fame skyrocketed too. Endorsement deals poured in, especially from Reebok, who signed him to a lifetime contract paying him $800,000 every year. By the mid-2000s, Iverson's estimated net worth was over $200 million, with $154 million earned just from NBA salaries and tens of millions more from endorsements. But then, the downfall began. Iverson's lifestyle was the definition of lavish. He traveled with an entourage of 30 to 50 people, covering flights, hotels, parties, and club expenses for everyone. He owned dozens of luxury cars, bought jewelry worth millions, and spent money like it could never run out. In 2012, a Georgia court ordered him to pay $860,000 to a jeweler, Aden & Company, after failing to settle bills for custom pieces. His bank account was garnished when he didn't pay up, revealing he couldn't cover the debt. He was also going through a costly divorce with his wife Tawana, with settlements and asset splits draining his finances even further. Soon, it was reported Iverson was broke. But here's what most people didn't know. While Iverson struggled financially, he wasn't completely doomed. His Reebok deal included a $32 million trust fund, set aside until he turns 55 years old in 2030. It was structured to protect him from bankruptcy claims and divorce settlements, ensuring he would still have money later in life. Today, Iverson still earns $800,000 annually from Reebok, which keeps him afloat. And when 2030 comes, that $32 million payout will hit his account, giving him another chance to rebuild what he lost. Despite the financial losses, Iverson's impact remains untouchable. In the playoffs, he averaged 29.7 points per game, the second highest playoff scoring average in NBA history, only behind Michael Jordan. His heart, toughness, and fearless scoring defined an entire generation. Here are some quick unknown facts about the answer to blow your mind. He played quarterback in high school, leading his team to the Virginia State Championship. At age 17, he was sentenced to 15 years in prison for a bowling alley brawl, but served only 4 months after the Virginia governor granted him clemency. His practice rant in 2002 remains one of the most replayed and memed interviews in sports history. Despite being a top 75 NBA player, he never officially held a retirement press conference. His final NBA game was with the Sixers in 2010. Allen Iverson's story is a powerful reminder. No matter how high you climb, reckless spending can destroy everything. However, his upcoming Reebok payout and his unbreakable brand, Iverson might just rise again, because true legends never truly fade away. Gilbert Arenas, guns, suspensions, and lost millions. Gilbert Arenas, known as Agent Zero, a man who went from scoring 60 points on Kobe's Lakers to watching his NBA career end in shame and lost millions. But what really happened to him? At his peak, Gilbert Arenas was one of the most unstoppable scorers in the NBA. From 2004 to 2007, he averaged 27.7 points per game, ranking him among the top 5 scorers in the entire league, ahead of young LeBron and even Dwyane Wade at the time. In the 2005 to 2006 season alone, Arenas scored 29.3 points per game and ranked second in total points, scored with 2,305 points, only behind Kobe Bryant. That same season, he dropped a career-high 60 points against Kobe's Lakers, hitting the game-winning 3 in overtime. Kobe even admitted after the game, that boy was on fire. Because of his fearless scoring and clutch moments, fans nicknamed him Agent Zero, representing both his jersey number and his mentality that no one could guard him. With his rise to superstardom, the Washington Wizards rewarded Arenas in August 2008 with a 6-year, $111 million contract, making him one of the highest-paid guards in the NBA at the time. He was supposed to be their franchise leader for years to come. But in December 2009, everything changed forever. It started with a simple gambling debt, about $1,100 from a card game on the team plane. Arenas and teammate Javaris Crittenton got into a heated argument. Days later, Arenas brought 4 unloaded guns into the Wizards' locker room, laid them out in front of Crittenton's locker, and joked, "Pick one." But Crittenton didn't laugh. Instead, he pulled out his own gun and aimed it at Arenas, shocking the entire team. The incident leaked to the media immediately. The NBA suspended Arenas for 50 games, wiping out the remainder of his season. The Wizards tried to void his $111 million contract, and although he wasn't officially cut, his reputation never recovered. In December 2010, he was traded to the Orlando Magic. His role was reduced to bench minutes, and he averaged only 8.0 points per game that season. By 2011, the Magic used the amnesty clause to waive him, paying out his contract without keeping him on the roster. He signed briefly with the Memphis Grizzlies in 2012, but his averages dropped to 4.2 points per game, and he was out of the league for good shortly after. So what about his money? Despite earning over $160 million in salary alone, Arenas lost much of his fortune due to lavish spending, tax issues, legal fees, and poor investments. He once spent $1 million on a Shark Tank aquarium for his house, paid $20,000 per month for private security, and reportedly $5,000 per month just to maintain exotic pets. Here's an unknown fact that shocks many fans. In his prime years, Gilbert Arenas scored more points per season than LeBron James for 2 straight seasons, 2004 to 2006, proving just how dominant Agent Zero truly was. But his career ended with only 552 total NBA games played, 11,402 points scored, and a reputation forever tainted by the gun scandal. Arenas later admitted in interviews that he regrets how it all ended. He said, "I lost everything I worked for, just because I wanted to prove I wasn't scared." From being one of the most feared clutch scorers in the NBA to losing his career, endorsements, and millions, Gilbert Arenas' story is a reminder that talent alone can never outrun reckless decisions. Latrell Sprewell, Feed My Family, and the $21 million refusal. When you hear the name Latrell Sprewell, one thing probably comes to mind: I've got a family to feed. But behind that meme-worthy quote is a story of a superstar who went from all NBA first team and NBA finals runs to losing everything he worked for. Let's break it down. Latrell Sprewell was drafted 24th overall in 1992 by the Golden State Warriors. At just 6 feet 5 inches, he wasn't the tallest shooting guard, but he played with an intensity that made defenders nervous. In his rookie season, he averaged 15.4 points per game, earning NBA All-Rookie second-team honors. By his second year, Sprewell exploded to 21.0 per game, became an All-Star, and even made the All-NBA First Team and NBA All-Defensive Second Team in 1994. It was only his second season, and he was already one of the best two-way guards in the league. During the 1996-97 season, he reached his scoring peak, averaging 24.2 points per game, ranking 7th in total points scored that season. He wasn't just a scorer, he averaged 4.6 assists and 1.7 steals per game, locking down perimeter opponents and running the offense when needed. But then came the infamous 1997 choking incident, where he attacked Warriors coach PJ Carlesimo during practice. The NBA suspended him for 68 games, and his reputation never fully recovered. Yet even after that, his talent was too undeniable to ignore. Fast forward to 1999, Sprewell joined the New York Knicks and led them to the NBA Finals as an 8th seed, averaging 20.4 PPG in the playoffs. In Game 5 of those finals, he dropped 16 points in a single fourth quarter, becoming the first player ever to score more than half of his team's points in an NBA Finals quarter. Pure clutch. Later, he teamed up with Kevin Garnett and Sam Cassell on the Minnesota Timberwolves, forming a big three that reached the 2004 Western Conference Finals. At that point, he was still averaging 14.5 PPG as a reliable veteran scorer. Then came the downfall. In 2004, with his contract expiring, the Timberwolves offered him a 3-year, $21 million extension. That's $7 million per year, a solid deal for a player entering his mid-30s. But Sprewell rejected it, saying, "I've got a family to feed. If they're not going to give me what I want, I might as well retire." NBA fans and analysts were stunned. After all, he earned over $100 million in career salary at that point. Teams saw his refusal as arrogance. No one else offered him a new contract. And just like that, his NBA career ended in 2005. Off the court, things got worse. By 2007, Sprewell's $1.5 million yacht was repossessed because he missed multiple payments. 2 of his homes were foreclosed, and he faced lawsuits for unpaid child support and defaulted bank loans. The same man who once signed $50 million plus contracts ended up losing almost everything because of pride, reckless spending, and refusing to adapt to aging in the league. Latrell Sprewell's story is more than just about that infamous quote. He was a four-time All-Star, All-NBA first-teamer, and a finals star who dropped 16,712 career points at an average of 18.3 points per game. But in the end, he became a cautionary tale that no amount of talent can protect you from poor decisions. He lost it all, not to injury, not to age, but to himself. Did you know? Sprewell is one of the only players in NBA history to record 50-plus points, 10-plus rebounds, and 5-plus assists in a single game while shooting over 60%. He did it against the Denver Nuggets in 1997, scoring 51 points on 63% shooting with 9 threes made. That game remains the second highest scoring game in Warriors history before the Steph Curry era. Latrell Sprewell's rise and fall proves that sometimes the greatest enemy is within. He went from all-star starter to completely out of the league in a single season, all because of one decision. He chose pride over legacy. Hit the like button if you are enjoying the crazy stories of these NBA stars. Roy Tarpley, the big man banned for life. Imagine being so talented that you're called the next Karl Malone. A 6'11" beast who could grab rebounds over giants, run the floor like a small forward, and dominate with powerful post moves. That was Roy Tarpley. In the late 80s, Roy Tarpley was one of the brightest young stars in the NBA. Drafted 7th overall in 1986 by the Dallas Mavericks, he came out of Michigan as the Big Ten Player of the Year, known for his rebounding, defense, and soft-scoring touch. As a rookie, Tarpley immediately made an impact. He averaged 7.5 points and 7.1 rebounds in just 20 minutes per game, earning a spot on the 1987 NBA All-Rookie First Team. But his real breakout came in his sophomore season. Coming off the bench, he averaged 13.5 points and 11.8 rebounds, winning the 1988 NBA Sixth Man of the Year award. That same year in the playoffs, he went off for 15.9 points and 13 rebounds per game, helping the Mavericks reach their first ever Western Conference Finals against the Lakers. He was just 24 years old. His ceiling? Limitless. In the 1988 to 1989 season, Tarpley was promoted to the starting lineup, and his production exploded to 17.3 points and 12.1 rebounds per game before a knee injury sidelined him after just 19 games. Still, his talent was undeniable. Here's a stat that shows how dominant he was. On March 4th, 1988, Tarpley grabbed 25 rebounds in a single game against the Philadelphia 76ers. He also had a career-high 35-point game against the Houston Rockets on December 2nd, 1988. He was supposed to be Dallas's franchise cornerstone for the next decade, but Tarpley had a different battle off the court substance abuse. In 1989, he was first suspended by the NBA for violating their drug policy. He returned, but in 1991, he was suspended again. His issues with cocaine and alcohol addiction were spiraling out of control. He tried to come back in 1994 to 95, and in 55 games that season, he still put up 12.6 points and 8.2 rebounds, showing flashes of his old self. But it wasn't enough. In 1995, after violating his aftercare program again, the NBA had seen enough. He was permanently banned for life. Let that sink in. A 6'11" all-star level big man who could average a double-double with ease, banned at just 30 years old. He sued the NBA, claiming his ban violated the Americans with Disabilities Act since addiction is a disability. The case was settled out of court, but his NBA career was over for good. Still hungry to play, Tarpley took his talents overseas. He dominated in Greece with Olympiakos and Aris Thessaloniki, winning the Greek Cup in 1997 and leading Olympiakos to the EuroLeague Final Four in 1994. But back home, his life never recovered. His addiction problems continued, leading to health complications later in life. On January 9, 2015, Roy Tarpley died of liver failure at just 50 years old. Here's a crazy Tarpley fact to leave you with. Roy Tarpley finished his NBA career with 275 games played, averaging 12.6 points and 10 rebounds per game. He remains one of the few players in NBA history to average a double-double across all seasons played. What a career he could have had. Multiple All-Star selections, possibly a Hall of Fame plaque, and millions more in contracts and endorsements. Instead, he became a cautionary tale of wasted potential, a big man who lost it all, not because of injuries or bad luck, but because of the demons he couldn't shake off the court. In the end, Roy Tarpley's story isn't just about basketball. It's a lesson that no matter how high your talent takes you, your choices off the court can bring it all crashing down in an instant. Derrick Rose, the youngest MVP who lost his prime. 22 years old, and already you're crowned the NBA's most valuable player. That was Derrick Rose in 2011, the youngest MVP in league history, the kid from Chicago who carried the weight of an entire city, reviving hope after the Jordan era. But his story wasn't just about explosive dunks, clutch floaters, and lightning-quick crossovers. It became a painful tale of what could have been. He was drafted first overall by the Chicago Bulls in 2008, won Rookie of the Year 2009, averaging 16.8 points and 6.3 assists. By his third season, he averaged 25 points, 7.7 assists, and 4.1 rebounds, leading the Bulls to a 62-20 record, their best since Michael Jordan. Derrick wasn't just athletic, he was electrifying. His vertical leap measured 40 inches at the draft combine, and his 32.2% usage rate during his MVP season ranked among the highest in the league. He was unstoppable in the paint, finishing over towering defenders with ease. But then came the moment that changed everything. It was April 28, 2012, Game 1 of the playoffs against the Philadelphia 76ers. With just 1 minute, 22 seconds left on the clock and the Bulls leading comfortably, Rose drove into the lane for what looked like a routine floater. Suddenly, he crumpled to the ground, clutching his left knee. The stadium fell silent. The diagnosis came hours later. Torn ACL. He missed the entire 2012 to 2013 season, recovering from surgery and rehab. Fans hoped he would return stronger, but reality was cruel. In November 2013, only 10 games into his comeback, he tore the meniscus in his right knee, ending yet another season. Between 2012 and 2017, Rose missed 212 games. His explosiveness waned. The quick crossovers that once left defenders frozen no longer carried the same threat. Teams began to lose faith. Career averages so far: points, 17.5 ppg, assists, 5.2 APG, rebounds, 3.3 RPG, minus FG percent, 45.5%, minus 3 PT percent, 31.5%. By 2017, Derrick Rose, the former MVP, was being traded for bench players, signing veteran minimum contracts, and even waived. Many analysts labeled him washed. He struggled with injuries, mental exhaustion, and even contemplated retirement. But champions don't quit. On October 31st, 2018, as a member of the Minnesota Timberwolves, Derrick Rose turned back the clock. He dropped 50 points against the Utah Jazz, tears streaming down his face after the final buzzer. It wasn't just a game, it was a declaration. He wasn't done. In 2019-20 with the Detroit Pistons, he averaged 18.1 points in 26 minutes per game, showing glimpses of his brilliance off the bench. Later, with the Knicks, he became a crucial sixth man and playoff contributor. Derrick Rose was the third player ever to record 2,000-plus points and 600-plus assists before age 23, joining Michael Jordan and LeBron James. He signed a $185 million lifetime deal with Adidas in 2012. In high school, he led Simeon Career Academy to 2 state championships, wearing number 25 in honor of his slain mentor Benji Wilson. Though injuries robbed him of his prime, Derrick Rose never let pain steal his love for basketball. From youngest MVP to role player, his story is a lesson in humility, resilience, and adapting to life's cruelest detours. Because greatness isn't just about MVP trophies, it's about rising again, after life knocks you down. Delonte West, from NBA guard to homelessness. Delonte went from guarding LeBron James's legacy on the court to begging for change on the streets. That's the tragic rise and fall of Delonte West, a talented NBA guard whose life spiraled into homelessness despite earning millions. Delonte Maurice West, born in Washington, D.C. in 1983, was never your typical NBA star. Standing at 6 feet 3 inches, West had a fiery playing style and a left-handed jumper that made him dangerous beyond the arc. At St. Joseph's University, he formed an iconic backcourt with Jameer Nelson, leading them to an undefeated regular season and an Elite Eight NCAA appearance in 2004. That same year, the Boston Celtics drafted West with the 24th overall pick. He quickly impressed with his hustle, defense, and underrated playmaking. In his 8th season NBA career, West played for the Celtics, Seattle Supersonics, Cleveland Cavaliers, and Dallas Mavericks. His career averages negative 9.7 points per game, minus 3.6 assists, minus 2.9 rebounds, shooting nearly 45% FG and 37% from 3. His best season came with the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2008 to 2009, averaging 11.7 points, 4.1 assists, and 3.5 rebounds per game, serving as a perfect defensive guard alongside LeBron James. He even dropped a career-high 31 points against Minnesota in 2008, showcasing his scoring prowess. But while his game was on the rise, his mind was crumbling. In 2008, West was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, a condition that causes intense mood swings, impulsivity, and depression. He spoke openly about it, but the NBA's demanding environment offered little space for healing. Things worsened in September 2009 when West was arrested for carrying 3 loaded guns, a 9mm Beretta, .357 Magnum, and a shotgun in a guitar case, while riding his motorcycle. The arrest led to an NBA suspension, heavy legal fines, and public ridicule. Financially, West's career earnings were around $16 million. His biggest contract was a 3-year, $12.7 million extension with the Cavaliers in 2008. But poor financial management, expensive legal battles, child support obligations, and a divorce quickly drained his bank accounts. During the 2011 NBA lockout, West made headlines after applying to work at Home Depot and a furniture store just to pay bills. He even tried to get a firearm dealer license to work in a gun store, but was denied because of his prior arrest. After leaving the NBA in 2012, West's final attempt to revive his career took him to China, playing for Fujian Sunxing Shanghai Sharks. But discipline issues, poor performance, and his worsening mental health cut short that chapter. By 2020, heartbreaking videos of Delonte West surfaced online. Once a defensive stopper in the NBA, he was now homeless, panhandling on the streets of Dallas and Washington, D.C., looking unrecognizable, frail, and broken. Here's an unknown fact. During the 2008 playoffs against the Celtics, West played an entire game with a broken wrist, refusing to sit out despite the pain. That was his level of dedication to the game he loved. Despite his downfall, there is hope. Mavericks owner Mark Cuban personally picked up West off the street in 2020, paying for his rehab and temporary housing. Former teammates and fans continue to pray for his recovery. Delonte West's story is more than basketball stats. It's a reminder that mental health struggles don't care about your fame or bank balance. Here was a man who once averaged nearly 10 points per game in the NBA, guarded the greatest players of his era, and earned millions, only to lose it all. His life remains a cautionary tale for athletes worldwide. Talent and hustle can take you to the top, but without mental stability, proper guidance, and wise financial choices, it can all disappear overnight. Dennis Rodman, championship glory to personal chaos. Having to dominate the NBA without needing to score. Think about a player grabbing rebounds over 7-foot giants while rocking rainbow-colored hair, piercings, tattoos, and a personality no one could tame. That was Dennis Rodman. But behind the championship rings and global fame was a life of chaos that nearly consumed him. This is the story of Dennis Rodman, the worm who rose from nothing to become the greatest rebounder of his era, but whose personal life spiraled out of control despite it all. Dennis Rodman entered the NBA in 1986 as the 27th pick of the second round by the Detroit Pistons. Standing at 6 feet 7 inches and weighing 210 pounds, he wasn't the tallest power forward, but his relentless hustle made him a nightmare for opponents. By his 5th season, Rodman had become a defensive juggernaut, winning back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year awards in 1990 and 1991. He wasn't just defending, he was snatching rebounds like his life depended on it. In the 1991-92 season, Rodman averaged 18.7 rebounds per game, and the next year, 18.3 rebounds per game. That's numbers you'd only expect from legends like Wilt Chamberlain or Bill Russell. After a controversial stint with the Spurs, Rodman joined the Chicago Bulls in 1995. Many doubted he'd fit in with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, but guess what? He silenced everyone by leading the league in rebounds all 3 seasons with the Bulls, averaging 14.9, 16.1, and 15 rebounds per game, respectively. He was the defensive backbone that helped Chicago win 3 straight championships from 1996 to 1998. Rodman won a total of 5 NBA championships, 2 with Detroit, 1989, 1990, and 3 with Chicago. He led the NBA in rebounds for 7 consecutive seasons, 1991 to 1998, something no one else in modern basketball has done. And in March 1992, he grabbed a career-high 34 rebounds in a single game against Indiana. But while Rodman dominated on the court, his life off the court was a whirlwind of controversy. He married Carmen Electra in 1998, but their union lasted just 9 days before annulment. He even married himself, wearing a wedding dress to promote his autobiography, shocking the entire sports world. He earned over $27 million in career salary, but soon his finances crumbled under poor management, child support lawsuits, and reckless spending. Rodman also wrestled in WCW with Hulk Hogan, famously skipped a Bulls practice during the 1998 finals to appear in a wrestling match, and made global headlines by visiting North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un repeatedly from 2013, calling him his friend for life. After brief stints with the Lakers and Mavericks, Rodman's NBA career ended in 2000. Post-retirement, his legal troubles piled up. Arrested multiple times for domestic violence and DUIs, battled alcohol addiction, entering rehab numerous times. Owed hundreds of thousands in child support arrears. Estimated net worth fell drastically despite his NBA millions and endorsement deals. Unknown fact: Rodman's career rebound rate was 23.4%, among the highest in league history, meaning nearly a quarter of all missed shots ended up in his hands. Today, Dennis Rodman is still recognized as one of the greatest defenders and rebounders ever. He was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 2011, solidifying his place among legends. But his story remains a stark lesson. Championship glory can't mask personal chaos. For all his rebounds, defense, and 5 rings, his off-court decisions left him fighting battles bigger than any NBA opponent. Because when the lights fade and the arena goes silent, it's not about how many rebounds you grabbed, it's about whether you can rebound from life itself. If you found Dennis Rodman's story mind-blowing, smash that like button, subscribe for more deep basketball breakdowns, and turn on notifications. Let me know your top 3 most shocking downfalls in the comments. I read and respond to every reply. Javaris Crittenton, NBA guard turned convicted killer. Drafted into the NBA at just 19 years old, wearing the purple and gold alongside legends like Kobe Bryant, with millions of dollars in your future. Unfortunately, he threw all of that away and ended up behind bars for murder before your 30th birthday. This is the chilling story of Javaris Crittenton, the NBA guard who lost it all and why. Javaris Crittenton was born on December 31st, 1987 in Atlanta, Georgia. Growing up, he wasn't just another street kid. He was brilliant both on the court and in the classroom, maintaining a 3.5 GPA while dominating high school basketball. At Georgia Tech, he averaged 14.4 points, 5.8 assists, and 3.7 rebounds per game in his freshman year. Scouts saw him as a tall, versatile point guard with court vision, scoring ability, and defensive potential. It was enough for the Los Angeles Lakers to draft him 19th overall in the 2007 NBA draft. But let's be real, Crittenton's rookie year was quiet. Backing up Derek Fisher and Jordan Farmer, he only averaged 3.3 points per game in limited minutes. His most memorable moment with the Lakers wasn't a highlight dunk or game winner. It was part of the blockbuster trade that sent him to Memphis for Pau Gasol in February 2008. In Memphis, Javaris showed flashes, averaging 7.4 points per game in the 2008 to 2009 season after later being traded to the Washington Wizards. At just 21, it looked like his breakout was coming. Then came the locker room gun incident. In December 2009, a gambling debt dispute turned dark. Gilbert Arenas allegedly owed Crittenton money from a card game. Javaris, fed up with the trash talk, brought a loaded gun into the Wizards' locker room to confront Arenas, who ironically also had guns in his locker as a joke. The NBA didn't laugh. Both players were suspended for the remainder of the season. For Javaris, it was career suicide. He never played another NBA game. Think about it. At that point, he'd played 113 NBA games, averaging 5.3 points, 1.8 assists, and 1.8 rebounds per game, with a 40% field goal percentage. His total NBA earnings were around $4 million. Not superstar money, but enough to build a stable life. But Javaris wasn't done making bad decisions. After leaving the NBA, he attempted a comeback with the Dakota Wizards in the NBA D-League in 2011, hoping to work his way back up. But life had different plans. In August 2011, Javaris was charged with the murder of 22-year-old Julian Jones, a mother of 4 in Atlanta. Prosecutors said it was a gang-related drive-by shooting, targeting men who had robbed him days earlier. Instead, his bullets killed an innocent woman sitting outside with friends. That's right, the man who once played alongside Kobe Bryant, the man who was an ACC All-Freshman standout, became a convicted killer before he turned 30. In 2015, after years of legal battles, Javaris pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter with a weapon and aggravated assault with a firearm. His sentence? 23 years in prison. Today, Javaris Crittenton sits behind bars at Central State Prison in Georgia, with a potential release in the late 2030s if parole is granted. He will be in his 50s by then, a far cry from the young guard who once dreamt of all-star appearances and endorsement deals. Here's an unknown basketball fact for you. While at Georgia Tech, he was teammates with Thaddeus Young, another 2007 draft pick who went on to play over 1,100 NBA games and earn nearly $130 million in career salary. Two rookies with bright futures. One stayed disciplined and built a long career. The other chose guns, gangs, and prison. Javaris Crittenton's story is a reminder that no matter your talent, success without character and discipline is just a ticking time bomb. He had the skills, he had the size, he had the opportunity, but in the end, bad decisions turned him from NBA guard to convicted killer. And there you have it, every NBA superstar who lost it all and why. Crazy how fast life can flip the script, right? Remember, talent gets you to the top, but it's your choices that keep you there or bring it all crashing down. If this blew your mind, hit that like button softly, subscribe if you vibe with our breakdowns, and tap the bell so you never miss when we drop the next one. Stay real, stay humble, and I'll catch you in the next video.